Yo, you're listening to All Elite Podcast. Boom.
And it is the worst podcast ever. We lied! Ow!
Frankie Terry, Scorpio Sky, Ultimate Daniels, Collective SoCal Epicenter Or, SCU!
This is Isaiah Cassidy. I'm Mark Quinn, and we're Private Podcast.
This is the All Elite Podcast,
And you're listening to the All Elite Podcast.
which happens to be the worst podcast I've ever been on. SCU!
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the All Elite Podcast right here on the No Holds Bar Network, your source for all wrestling podcast content and more. I'm your host, as always, the self-proclaimed greatest host and owner and CEO of the No Holds Bar Network, Kyle Masters. And I'm always joined by my co-host. She is the Executive Vice President of Giggles, the Queen of the Indies, and on that ish tonight, Tiffany. What's going on, Tiff?
We lie!
We lie. We lie, I guess. But as the young kids say nowadays, Tiff on that ish.
Oh, that ish tonight.
Whatever that means. I don't know what that means.
You have Canadianness. You don't know.
Canadianness. I guess it's American, that ish. Because I've
Okay.
never heard that once up here.
The ish?
The ish. I don't know what that is.
Really? That's a thing.
Well, it's three letters at the end of a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that ends in ish. So that's
Yeah.
what you are?
Yes, I'm that ish.
Oh, got it. Clarified. No need to go on now. But guys, welcome to the All Elite Podcast, where myself and Tiff go over each and every single week what's going on in that AEW world, that All Elite world. We go over the Dynamite from this week, and we just kind of have fun here. We talk about All Elite Wrestling. It's been a great year. And speaking of year, today officially is our Twitter anniversary, as Tiff just tweeted before the show.
Yes.
With the 1 year Twitter thing that they give you to tweet at, which I'm kind of upset about because I didn't open Twitter this morning to see balloons pop in my face like you would with other anniversaries and birthdays that Twitter does for you. So I'm kind of upset. I'm not upset at you, Twitter. We kind of still want that blue check mark.
Here we go. Kyle is out.
But yeah, I didn't get any balloons. I didn't even know until Tiff, before we went on the air, told me just now. So,
Yeah.
thanks, Tiff.
You're welcome.
And then tomorrow is our official podcast anniversary. Tomorrow is going to be the anniversary date from our first episode. So we released our first podcast episode tomorrow.
Crazy.
If that makes any sense. That made no sense.
Bubbly. We were supposed to get bubbly.
There's always time to pop bubbly. There was lots this week. There's an
know.
extraordinary amount of bubbly on Dynamite this week.
Yes, there was a lot of bubbly.
Yeah, and someone lied.
We lied.
Which we'll get into. But first things first, if you're new to this podcast, welcome. If you're coming back, thank you. Thank you for downloading the episode on the go. If you're taking us on the go, thank you very much. We do really appreciate you each and every single week doing that. Slowly updating the podcast. As you can see, I've got a new mic with my XLR hookup. Finally got my soundboard in. Tiff's coming through my soundboard as well. We did some offline testing, so it does work. We hope.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
I mean, the offline test said we're good, so I think we're good. But slowly updating the podcast. I got new headphones. Well, not new, but I finally got these headphones. That was the new cord with the podcast.
The No Holds Barred podcast.
Barred. Yeah. She's on that ish tonight.
On that ish tonight. I'm sorry.
Crazy start to the year for All Elite Wrestling with last week's homecoming episode. This is being the anniversary episode this week from the announcement and the press conference, and then next week is their themed Dynamite night of Bash at the Beach, and then the week after it's the Jericho's episode. So crazy upcoming couple of weeks. They have announced 5 matches already for next week. 1 match for the Jericho's. I'm sure we'll get more into next week as well. I'm curious how the setup is going to go for next week for Bash at the Beach, because if it's anything like they've done with WCW Bash at the Beach, I really just want the stage to be like how WCW did with the sand and everything. Like the presentation is more beachy.
We're gonna find Orange Cassidy
just sunbathing.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I hope they do that stuff next week. I'm sure they will. We're gonna go over some Jericho stuff as well, and then we'll do our Dynamite review.
If you guys are going to the Jericho cruise, please tweet us, tweet your pictures. We want to see. Maybe we'll feature a couple on the podcast that week. So send us your pictures. We want to see.
Yeah, let us know. Tag us. Use the podcast tag at All Elite Pod, and then we'll definitely look at featuring it on the episode, and we'll retweet you guys. Put you guys up on the old Twitter.
The
Twitters. So before we get anywhere, let's talk about quickly here about Bash at the Beach that's going on next week, Tiff. Bash at the Beach. They've announced 5 matches, so 2 today, 3 during this week's Dynamite. The first match they announce is Darby is going to take on Pac, and
Darby's gonna die.
What? You think? Well, this is going to be a very, very fast-paced, high-flying match.
It's gonna be really good.
This is actually going to be very good because we're finally getting Darby up against someone that's more his style.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen that lately. He's been doing some stuff with Cody, and Cody's obviously a different style than Darby is. Pac is going to be down to up to kind of his level in terms of speed and moveset. So I think a lot of people are excited for this match, and I'm intrigued to see what Darby does with his entrance, because now you can kind of see that he has a special entrance for the person he's facing. It looks like they're incorporating that more in his matches. So hopefully there is something. So we'll see. So that was the one match they announced. This is an interesting one. This is a 3-on-3 match, and I don't know. I need to know your reaction, Tiff, but we have MJF, the Butcher and the Blade,
right,
facing off against QT Marshall, Dustin Rhodes, and DDP. Apparently DDP is getting back in the ring.
I told you, did I not call this? I told you he was going to get back into the ring. I knew it was going to be something that was going to make him come back into the ring, and nobody believed it.
It's just
but
weird.
I really didn't believe it. I don't know. I don't think we're going to see too much of him in the ring. We'll see him, but I don't know. I feel like he's going to take a lot of bumps.
Yeah. It's going to be weird. I don't know. I'm not sure how I still feel about DDP, and if he's just going to be the guy, the third man tagged in, the match is going to go on till the end. He's going to get tagged in, do a hot tag, do a couple of move sets, do a couple of cutters, and that's going to be it. I can't for some reason see MJF getting too involved in this match, just being the type of character that he is right now. It'll be an interesting match.
Gonna be,
Yeah. It's going to be all Butcher and Blade mostly, and Dustin and QT. So we'll see what happens next week with that. And the third match they announced this week on Dynamite is Chris Statlander and Sheeta are going to be in women's tag team action. So we're going to get some women's tag team. So that's pretty cool. Against Awesome Kong, and they're calling her Mel.
Yeah.
What was her name before? You said you knew.
Oh, crap. I don't know now.
Come on, Queen of the Indies.
I know. Shame on
me.
Oh, buddy, forgot it.
You know what that means. Shame, Tiff.
Crap.
Shame.
There's a lot of people in the Indies. I can't remember everybody.
You're the queen.
I know, but there's a lot of independent wrestlers all over the freaking place. I can't keep everybody.
You need a king to help you out, so go get yourself a king, and maybe he can back you up. Cause
maybe one of my husbands.
Now we need to know.
Yeah.
So anyway, she called Mel now, and Brandy will be in the corner there. So that's gonna be I think that's gonna be a good tag team match. I'm excited for that. So see what happens with that. It's going to be interesting to see how they go with the title picture. I know a lot of people are not too happy that Riho is still the champion. And We'll get into that when we talk about Dynamite this week. But the other two matches they announced today, which I'm kind of excited for, is Sammy Guevara is going to be facing off against Jon Moxley. So obviously some backlash here between the Inner Circle and Jon Moxley after what happened at the end of Dynamite this week. So it looks like they're sending in the Spanish God to, I guess, try and take care of Jon Moxley. I mean, good luck.
Thank you, Ray. It was Melanie Cruz.
Melanie Cruz, yeah, who is now Mel.
She was Ash. So
yeah, I don't know how well this is going to go for Sammy G unless he's going to have backup in his corner. And
yeah, maybe like some sort of like disqualification or something might.
Jake Hagar.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. But this is what we were talking about, like the slow build, like the slow build to Revolution.
Yep. And then a tag team, I called it today, a tag team extravaganza. It's going to be a bash at the beach. Beach.
The beach.
The beach.
Are you at that? No. Are you at that today?
I'm on that ish with the beach. Sorry, Mrs. Masher's in the room. She's just shaking her head at me right now. Anyways, we got a huge, I guess you can, a 4-man tag team match, a 14 tag team match. You have the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Hangman, Santino and Ortiz, Pride and Powerful, and Best Friends.
Oof.
So you have 4 teams here. Winner will actually receive a World Tag Team Championship match against SCU in the future. So this is going to be exciting. It's a jam-packed tag team match. It's going to be chaos everywhere. I'm hoping if this is going to be the main event next week that it's not going to be a rush match, like there's not enough time left, and we're going to at least get some sort of great match out of this, because it screams an insane tag team match and a lot of cool spots that they could actually do with this match. So I'm hoping good things out of next week, and their time management is, I know they're working on it and they're getting better at it, and I'm hoping next week that does do pretty good, because they're making this Bash at the Beach thing really good. They're kicking off the new year with every Dynamite so far. So the first 2 Dynamites of this new year have been jam-packed, and I thought they've been really good, and they've been a step up for what we got in 2019. So I really hope they do take their time with this, and maybe not the best terms, not take their time, but use their time wisely for Dynamite next week.
Metal thinks that this should start the show.
That'd be cool. That'd be a good way to get the crowd hot.
Yeah.
Give them the time to do it too. So I'd say probably maybe the Moxley and Guevara end the show, and they're going to do something with Jericho at the end too. We'll see what happens with that. I'm not sure if even Jericho's going to be there next week, being that the Jer Cruise is like right after that. I don't know if he's going to be going over like final preparations with that crew. You'd expect him to probably be there to do that. So we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But speaking of the Jer Cruise, they actually announced a match for the Jer Cruise, and so jealous of the people that are going to be on the Jer Cruise to see this type of match.
Jimmy.
Insane. So we have Le Champion, Chris Jericho, AEW World Champion, and Santino and Ortiz in a 3-on-3 tag team match versus Jurassic Express. And that is awesome. And that's the AEW Dynamite episode that's going to be filmed on the ship. So that's pretty cool as well. So me and Mrs. Masters are actually talking about this, and I'm assuming that it's going to be docked. Like the boat's going to be docked when they do film this episode. Because a cruise...
Not necessarily.
But they can't... I don't know if they can film it while the boat's going.
Why? They put it on the pay-per-view last year.
But I'd want to... Was the boat going last year while the matches were happening?
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't know if they have to be docked to get a certain signal. You know what I mean? If this is going to be live or not.
I don't know.
So that's what I'm trying to say. If they're going live, maybe they need to be docked. I don't know if they can go live from the water, Tiff.
Why not? You get Wi-Fi on the freaking...
Okay, no, it's not that. I don't think it's that simple. Oh, yeah, connect to a Wi-Fi. We'll be all right. There's no Wi-Fi in the ocean.
Stress.
I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. It comes. It's in 2 weeks. The Jer Cruise looks pretty cool. I picked this off the internet. Basically what their schedule is going to be like.
It's not live. Okay.
So we have the Master of Ceremonies with Chris Jericho. Guest of Honor is Ric Flair. A bunch of people from AEW that are going to be there, like Cody, Kenny Omega, the Bucks, Moxley, MJF. Basically, a lot of the big names are going to be there. Our boys Private Party will be there as well. I see Priscilla Kelly is going to be there as a part of AEW. That was an interesting name I picked out of there.
Hey, look, Jake the Snake Roberts is going to be there.
Gabriel Iglesias is going to be hosting.
Oh, man.
And guest cruise directors Vicky Guerrero for whatever reason.
I think we should try to go to this cruise the next year.
Yeah, if he's doing it the third year, that's definitely a goal. I'd want to go on a Jared cruise. That'd be sweet.
I think we should start saving for that.
Queen Charmel, I see that. I picked that name out there. MVP, Lisa Mary Veron, who's, I believe that's Lita, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's her real name, I think. If not, I'm totally wrong and shame myself. But yeah, a lot of cool people on the ship. Head bartender, Red Cup Jeff. Don't know who that is, but Red Cup Jeff is the head bartender for you people that are going to be on the chair cruise. And the official cruise mascot, Keeper of Ice.
Oh, Lord.
What does that mean? You're the Keeper of Ice. Jack Slade.
Party at a Hangman Page segment going on being the elite with this.
Okay. Live podcast from Talk is Jericho is going to be on the ship. Wrestling Observer Live will be on the ship. 83 Weeks, the Hall of Fame. Paranormal Experts, Beyond the Darkness, and Xbox 12360 will also be on the ship as well. So it looks like a rockin' wrestling ragers, like he promotes it as, for the Jer Cruise.
By the way, it was Victoria, because they're all saying it.
Yeah. Shame on me.
Anywho, Rihu.
Rihu. That's what's kind of going on in the AEW world. So we might as well get into the Dynamite episode this week.
Dynamite.
The anniversary episode of Dynamite. So it's a big episode. There's a lot of announced matches going into this one as well. One of the big matches was the title match for the AEW Women's World Championship. A lot of people were expecting good things out of that. Yikes. Not sure what to make of what we got. We'll get into that when we get to it. One of the big things they showed before the show was the Hangman Page has been distant from the Elite. They showed him from the episode last week not wanting to go to the ring and celebrate with them. So we get further with that storyline as well. We get the answer from John Moxley, and then Cody's answer to MJF potentially for his stipulations.
Yes.
And if you guys don't remember stipulations and for some reason need a little refresher, I got one for you here. Their stipulations are Cody cannot touch MJF until Revolution, a cage match with Wardlow, and then the kinky-ass stipulation of 10 lashes on live TV.
Okay.
I don't know what to make of that either. We need more clarification on the lashes.
I don't know about that.
Like we seriously need like a detailed clarification of what's going to go down
like
with
a
this
death
lashes.
match? The death match, like with some chains, maybe? I don't know.
Are we getting a scene from 50 Shades? Like we need more clarification here.
GC dub, or
GC
icy dub.
Icy dub. Whatever dub. Something dub that involves death matches. Anywho, Rihu. Dynamite this week opened up with Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus our boys Private Party.
Brad just broke me. He said, "What's Cody's safe word?"
What's Cody's safe word? Oh, wow. I don't know. Think of a good safe word. I don't know. Pharaoh. Pharaoh is going to be the safe word.
Peaches.
I'm sure. Anywho, Rihu, back to what we were talking about, and that's Dynamite this week. I do want to point out, I get it. The TSN feed was just like the ESPN of Canada for people that don't know of Dynamite. They bleep out the swearing. It's weird because before they show the footage, they do the warning like the following program may contain aggressive blah 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 blah. Like they warn you about the swearing beforehand, but then when the crowd's chanting like holy you know what I'm saying, they bleep it out and we can't hear anything, and it's kind of annoying. It's very annoying, especially when someone just starts to talk over them or we need to hear something, we can't. So for you people that are on TNT drama and watching it, good for you because I hear it doesn't happen to you. where we don't have that luxury up in Canada. Shocker.
The picture-in-picture shit.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand with that. Not a fan. I hope they know.
Yeah. I know, but I mean, I get it. Like, the commercials have to pay, for some of the advertising. So I understand why. There's really nothing we could do. It just sucks that we kind of like miss out on things.
And I hate comparing to them, but if WWE can do it without picture-in-picture, I think we can do it without picture-in-picture. I think they'll find a way somehow. But we'll see. Anyways, besides that, some weird sound technical difficulties at the beginning of this match. It kind of sounded like they were going through a giant airplane turbine. I don't know if anyone caught that, but there was this weird sound for like the first 15 minutes of the match. I don't know if you guys got it on your end, Tiff, but it literally sounded like they're going, like someone turned a massive fan on in that arena. And I know it wasn't just me, because I looked on Twitter and some people heard it too.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? And then they fixed it. So whatever. As for the match itself, very good match. Lots of good tag team chemistry shown between both teams, especially Hangman and Kenny. I love the moves that they've pulled off together. And I love the chemistry that they have. There were some spots where Hangman actually accidentally hit Kenny Omega. Some were some close calls with the gin and juice being hit. And I actually thought that Private Party were going to win at that point. And I was shocked to see that didn't. There was a kick out. A box shot and V-trigger were hit at the same time on Quen. Right?
Yeah. No,
it was Quen, right? I'm almost certain it wasn't Isaiah Cassidy. I'm pretty sure it was Quen because he's tall. Yeah.
Isaiah took the pin.
Are you sure?
I don't remember.
I say Quen because he's tall enough for that to happen. If it was Isaiah Cassidy, I think the V-trigger would have landed. Huh?
Isaiah took the pin.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, well then eventually the One Wing Angel was hit, we'll say, on Isaiah for the win. And Pac was shown on the screen with a brutalizer on Michael Nakazawa in the back and demanding his one-on-one match from Kenny. This was a weird part here because was it not a week or two ago that they showed something similar? Like Pac went into the dressing room in the back and we just didn't see anything. But now this week we kind of see what probably did happen. I don't know. It was just weird.
I feel like I don't know.
Like, was this the footage we were supposed to get a couple weeks ago?
I don't know. It's I feel like this episode wasn't. I don't know. Like, I'm not feeling the entire episode, especially this match. You said it was a good match. Like, yeah, our boys, Private Party, got all their moves in and they look good, but it wasn't their best match. I don't think it was the best chemistry. It was no Private Party and Young Bucks.
No. Maybe they just don't clash well with these two. I don't know. I think it was definitely. I know it sucks for Private Party, but this was kind of just a placement for them. They were the placement team because the story is behind Hangman and Kenny and Pac and Kenny. So they're kind of just being that placeholder tag team. So maybe that's probably why it was kind of dialed back a little bit.
Right.
But Kenny runs to the back and Hangman kind of slowly doesn't. He kind of waits for Kenny to run away, and he slowly does it, and he ends up going through the crowd and drinking people's beers. And he even finds the one guy that has the sign that said, Hangman, drink my beer. And he goes over and drinks his beer.
Would you be mad if somebody came and took your beer while you're at an event?
If it was a wrestler, I wouldn't care. If it was someone in the crowd, I'd be like, yeah, that's not happening.
Here, take my beer.
But if it was Hangman, yeah, here, man, take it.
$15 later for a freaking beer at these shows or whatever, and it's you took my beer.
What happens in that instant? Do you go to the concession and say Hangman drank my beer? Do you not just see that? Do I get a free beer now? What happens in that case? If this ever happened to anyone that's listening to this podcast, please let us know because I want to know what happens in that case. That's
what I'm saying, Metal. He said, hell yeah, that's $10 wasted. Here it'd be worse in New York. It's probably 15, $20 for a goddamn beer. But really, I would be a little PO'd because I'm spending this kind of money. And
that's what I mean. I'm hoping the concession people are watching so that I can go there and be like, yeah, see, it's not my fault. He wanted a beer. I'm not going to say no. So. Anywho, Rihu, and speaking of Rihu, we got her versus Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's Championship. Brandy was on commentary.
Yeah.
Very very weird commentary. Like, she was just running everybody down and burying everybody. Like,
Yeah.
even burying Excalibur to the point I'm like, okay, we can kind of dial it down a little bit. But like making fun of him, like wearing the mask and stuff. She was kind of acting confused at why she was even out there too. The height and weight difference really showed in this match. I feel like Statlander was just way overpowering Riho. And I think this what came down to people being very mad that they didn't get the outcome that people wanted.
We
Kong
knew
and,
it was gonna happen though. Like,
yeah, and it happens with this. Kong and the other members of the Nightmare Collective came down to ringside. Riho gets attacked behind the ref's back. Statlander does a suicide dive to both of Mel and Awesome Kong. Brandy then finally comes down to the ring, and then Luther comes out from under the ring.
Yeah.
And you know what this felt like, Tiff? This exactly felt like when the Butcher and the Bunny made their debut. Like, people were just like, who?
Yeah.
And what? And why? Like,
yeah.
That's another. I think it's another debut they kind of just messed up.
I get it. Like, you're pulling all these guys from the indies, and I just feel like, how these guys are debuting is not getting me. Like I'm not very familiar with him. He's a Japanese, death match.
Legend death match. So he's been around forever. And
so, but I was having a conversation with Ray in the chat, and it's just like weird, to like put him in like that. Like I don't know exactly what they could have done, but it's such a shame because it's like, didn't they say like AEW is supposed to be for the fans? And I don't know. Like, I think a lot of people are not liking the Nightmare Collective.
No, I'm seeing a lot of hate on that. And I kind of, to those people, I think we should be saying that you kind of have to wait. It's a slow build with them. A lot of those people are expecting stuff like right away and for stuff to like happen right away. But good thing, again, it does really come down to that cliche term, like good things come to those who wait. If we wait, this will build itself out and will be good. We have to kind of be patient with this. What I understand that they don't like, what they did do was the Luther thing. They kind of just introduced him with nothing and expected people to know, like, and they do it with like the commentary. They're like, oh, like Excalibur's like, oh my God, it's Luther, the Japanese deathmatch legend. And we're sitting there going, who?
Yeah.
He just came from under the ring. Why did he come from under the ring?
How long was he under?
Why does he have an eye painted on his head? Like,
would Chris Statlander boop the eye is the question.
That was funny.
I mean, look, I know like Brad saying nothing good about Brandy. Brandy's just nice to look at, right? Like, she comes out, she looks gorgeous, and
I kind of disagree with people. I like the way she presents her character, like the way you kind of have to listen to what she's saying, and I dig it. It's something different. It's different than what if her just coming out on her own in wrestling gear and saying, I'm gonna wrestle because I'm Cody's wife.
Yeah.
So
I get that. I mean, like, I was intrigued like in the beginning, but I feel like I'm starting to fall back with it. And maybe it's true that people are saying that, maybe there is too many like cult stories going on, too many factions or whatever. Maybe it's too much. Maybe
there's like the Nightmare Collective, then there's the Inner Circle, then there's the Dark Order, and there's too many of those join my clan factions. So anyways,
I don't know. I said this during this. I was like, I had a feeling. I was like, this is going to set up for like tag team. And a lot of people, what I've been noticing on social media, that they've been saying that this is setting up for women's tag team. And I feel like that's a way that you're going to get more women, on, TV, right? Like, you're going to, like, everybody's complaining about the women's roster, right?
Well, AEW said that they said from the beginning that their main focus is tag team. And that doesn't mean just the men's division.
No, but that's fine and stuff like that. But the meshing together, it's not making sense. No. So you're having Chris Statlander face Rio, and which I said this before, and Kyle knows this. I really feel like Chris Statlander should be the face of the company, not Rio. I don't know. I can't get behind her anymore. She's good, but I don't feel that she's good enough to be the face of AEW right now. And now you're going to put them in a tag match together? It's not making sense. And then you're having Sheeta and Britt Baker sitting down, like, watching the match, which I don't even understand, like, why? Like, why? Why are they out there?
I think because they're the other two top contenders behind Statlander. I don't know.
You just had them face in the week before, right? We had this. Whoever was going to win that match was facing Chris Statlander this week. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not liking the fact that you having the women out in the front. Oh, with the convenience of Sheeta being out there so she can come save for the save.
But at least they did something with it. They had Britt look there and say, "I don't care." And then if you listen, what Brandy said on commentary, she was actually building up Britt and saying she doesn't have a problem with her. I don't know if that's going to be a planted seed for Baker to maybe join the Nightmare Collective on her own.
Right.
Because she could have helped jump the gate and help, but she chose not to, and she had that sour look on her face, which has now become a meme on Twitter. Poor girl just gets put into a meme every single time now. Anyways, Kong and Mel ended up helping Rio win without even her knowing. Crowd really shit all over this after that. Swole and Sunny Kiss were even out there for whatever reason. Like, I didn't get that when they came out to say, I'm like, why are they out here?
Yeah.
I'm like, what does Sunny Kiss have to do with any of these people? Same with Swole. Like, they're not part of this gimmick. I understand the mess of it, but as for the Nightmare Collective itself, I think it's a slower build. They could have done a better job introducing Luther, but it's kind of a slower build thing with me. I'm kind of still on board a little bit with that. So, anywho, that's it for that. We had a quick Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford kind of promo package. Nothing really came of it after. I thought we were going to get something after it. They kind of just showed it.
Were we supposed to, like, the way that it was going, that we were going to have Joey Janela and Kip go at it? Like, this.
I'm assuming
this week, I'm
assuming, though, Janela's got a prior commitment. That's why he wasn't there this week.
All right,
Unless it was on Dark.
I will ask him tomorrow when I see him at GCW.
Well, there you go. Then we had Christopher Daniels versus Sammy G in a one-on-one match. Christopher Daniels looking to show everyone he hasn't lost it, and they kind of showed the whole bump thing. That he kind of hasn't been the same since then, and he wants to kind of prove that that was just a one-off, and he's not losing it. He's not losing his touch because he's getting old. Definitely looking to try and get back into it with a big win over Sammy G. Sammy G being a very good prospect in AEW. Guy's only 26 years old. He has a lot to go for him, and he's got a big future in AEW. The one thing
I thought isn't he?
What's that?
Isn't he 23?
26.
Oh, I thought it was 23. Okay, yeah. It was a good match. I mean, like, it was a good, like, pace.
Yeah, we didn't get a Sammy Wedgie again.
Yeah. Christopher Daniel looks so good, though, in the ring. This was a really good, good pace, good match.
He definitely proved he still got it.
Yeah.
Even for his age. Pentagon eventually comes out, and he kind of, like, engages Christopher Daniels, kind of challenges him to do the Arabian moonsault that he hasn't done in forever. It kind of distracts Christopher Daniels, and Sammy G ends up getting the roll up for the win. And this is where I feel like too much is going on. Because, like, so Pentagon does that, and I was expecting Pentagon to come to the ring and, like, do something with Christopher Daniels, but then the Dark Order comes out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And they start telling him that the crowd doesn't believe in him and that they believe he has lost his step. And he asks Christopher Daniels to join the Dark Order. He declines. He gets attacked. Then the rest of SCU comes out with the Young Bucks, and there's just this massive brawl. And I think my head was going in circles at this point. I'm like, there's too much going on. Like, why do we just skip over the Pentagon thing? That's clearly going to continue after this. Now you're adding the Dark Order. They're adding too much into every storyline, and it's too much intertwining.
There was too much interference, I feel like, with this whole episode. And I thought that was something that they said that they weren't going to do. That there was going to be a whole bunch of, like, interference in matches and stuff. So we kind of had, like, back-to-back matches where there was, like, interference. And
they're intertwining the stories too much. Why did you all of a sudden start that thing with Dark Order when he hasn't finished his storyline with Pentagon yet?
Yeah.
Like, clearly those two are going to have a one-on-one match probably at Revolution. So why did they include the Dark Order here? Like, leave the Dark Order alone. They're doing good right now building their darkness and all whatever it is that they have going on for them. You didn't have to include Christopher Daniels, and you had Young Bucks come out because they have their beef with them, and it's just
the episodes was weeks ago when that. I mean, I understand why they did it, but I just think it's just a little too much.
It was too much. My head was going in circles, and and I don't watch a lot of wrestling, so that's why I don't understand how my head was going in circles there. That's when you know it's too much. That was like the only wrestling that I've watched this week was that episode of Dynamite. So,
Right.
and I wasn't even going to go back and watch the New Japan stuff that I missed, and I haven't yet. So, you can only imagine what my head would have been like at that point. Cody Rhodes and Dustin teamed up against the Lucha Brothers. Dustin's new theme. I do want to keep pointing out that I brought it up last week. I definitely like it. And it's for people who know the old Goldust character he was in the WWE and his Dustin Rhodes kind of style. It's a clash of both. You can kind of hear the rock tone of the Dustin Rhodes side and the instrumental side of the his Goldust era kind of it's not the same Goldust theme, but it's a kind of that style. It's the two styles coming together into one theme, and it goes hand in hand with why he, half his face is painted to the Goldust style of painting, and then the other half is not painted, which is the Dustin thing. So I love how they do these little subtle things that I actually pick up on that AEW does. So I got you. I see it. Good start to the match. Lots of spots in this match. Just spot central is really cool. During the picture in picture, Lucha Brothers were all over Dustin and Cody, working the leg a lot of Dustin. It looks like that was one of the things that they tried to do to incapacitate him. Come back from commercial break, Phoenix has tried to bring in a chair. And Arn Anderson comes out of nowhere and kicks a chair out of Phoenix's hand. This is a great spot. This is funny. So I'm glad Arn got in there. Crazy finish at the end with Dustin hitting the Destroyer and eventually hitting the final reckoning for the huge upset win. This is a massive upset win.
Yeah.
And it was clean, too, on the Lucha Brothers. So this is a big win for the Rhodes Brothers.
I was shocked. I had people over. My jaw dropped. I was like, really? Like, I did not expect, that pin, and for Pentagon to eat the pin. I was very, very shocked.
I thought for sure it was going to be like Dustin just, I thought like Dustin was going to take the pin for sure, and it was going to be like Pentagon or Phoenix hitting some sort of move. But it was a huge upset win. Tony Schiavone got in the ring, and he asked Cody for his response to MJF. Arn got on the mic, and he kind of spewed out that he doesn't like what MJF had to demand and said that they'll talk about it this week and get back to them next week. So I'm like, oh, not another thing where it's like, we'll come back and say it next week. They did this twice now.
Yeah, you were just talking about that last week.
I was like, come on, stop with that. I know you're trying to build for episodes week after week, but enough with the, my answer is next week. Stop.
Yeah.
Cut it out. Anyways, speaking of MJF, he has an in-ring segment here. They let him do his walk around the ring thing during picture-in-picture as well. Kind of sucks for me. I don't know if it happened to you, Tiff, but he already started talking during the picture-in-picture for like the first 2 minutes of his promo. So I missed the first 2 minutes of his promo because it was still in picture-in-picture.
Oh, that he was talking about did you get the part where he was counting down?
I came back to that, but he was already talking before that.
Yeah, he was pretty much calling Cody like a coward.
Okay.
He's like, oh, why don't you come out here, and you won't because you're a coward, pretty much. And then he was like, I'll give you like 10 seconds. And
we came back to the countdown.
Okay, so that's what he pretty much said.
I was worried. I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna miss half his promo now.
No, it wasn't much.
So DDP ends up coming out after that countdown, and he got a pretty good reaction. He talks about AEW. And he's just kind of like doing the whole generic AEW spiel and bringing up like stuff about his past and his yoga. And you can see like MJF is like bored in the corner. He's texting. He's looking at his watch. Then he brings up MJF and he brings up the whole segment they had a couple of weeks ago. And he brings up the question that he's been asked on social media, that if he's still got it and he's got still one more match to give. MJF hops on the mic and says he doesn't want to fight him, but they might. And Butcher, Blade, and Bunny come out. He mentions WCW is dead and is dead. MJF says WCW is dead, and dead is the average age of his fans. And he gives gives DDP two options. A, he can either kiss his ring and then leave his ring, or B, brings up about laying down with DDP's daughter, and yikes. You could see the instant frustration on DDP's face.
He's so extreme. But yeah, he was like, "Oh, I could send you straight to hospice. Take your daughter." And
Yeah.
I was like,
you know, you guys seen what happened. And then he attacks the Blade and Butcher and Wardlow, and then MJF attacks DDP, and then QT and the refs come out for the save. It's kind of a weird end to the segment, but I understand they're keeping the feud going with DDP and MJF. Eventually, I'm assuming if DDP's ready to go one-on-one, that he's going to fight maybe Wardlow. I don't know where this is going. We know next week there's like that big 6-man.
when are we gonna get some of these guys in the ring? You know, like when are we gonna get him in the ring?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, we know if Cody accepts the challenge, he's going to face Wardlow.
I feel like it's gonna be like a huge upset. I don't know.
So anywho, we had Jurassic Express versus the Best Friends. So we got some 6-man tag team action here. I was excited to see Orange Cassidy was going to wrestle. He got a big reaction. The crowd loves Marco's stunt here.
Yes.
They're all over Marco. So when Orange Cassidy eventually got into the match, this is very, very entertaining. He got
It's the greatness finally.
Yeah, he got tagged in. He did his whole hands in the pocket thing, his kicks. He does his whole suicide dive. There was even the one spot where he did that kind of like, he looked like he was gonna do like he did the motion for like a 450, and he just jumped on the guy. He's fun. He's fun to watch in the ring.
That a lot of times, usually, if you watch them in the indie scene, he just falls and misses all the time. It's the most funniest thing.
So I love the whole ending to this match. It was a really good match. Jungle Boy rose up Chucky T for the win, and that was actually Jungle Boy's first victory in AEW, believe it or not.
That's cool.
Yikes. But he got the victory, so Jurassic Express over Best Friends this week.
It was good.
And then we got into the main event, which was John Moxley's answer to Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho comes out with Sammy and Jack. Sammy has his commercial cue cards, and we get the picture-in-picture, and he's got his cue cards going again. No, you really appreciate Sammy G for his cue card commercials, except for at the end he starts getting off track and starts asking what's her name to follow him and DM him on social media.
How many people went and searched for her on freaking?
Probably a lot. So
go on, want to know, guys? Tell us.
And she can thank Sammy G for all those follows. So Moxley comes out and he has his jacket zipped, and I'm like, oh, I already know where this is kind of going.
You already knew.
Yeah, but I was expecting maybe a different T-shirt. In my head, I'm trying to think of another T-shirt he'd be wearing, and one thought I had through my head, it didn't write down, but was maybe he had a Dark Order shirt. Wouldn't that have been something?
Okay.
That would have been a crazy. What if that was like the big reveal? He was the leader.
Oh God.
That would have been insane. Anyways, Jericho makes fun of Memphis. He says none of them are invited to the Inner Circle party. Moxley says he doesn't want anything that was offered to him from Chris Jericho. He can't be bought. He came to AEW to dominate. So his answer is yes, I'll join the Inner Circle. So it was a bit of a shock. The crowd went nuts, and he unzips the jacket. He's wearing an Inner Circle shirt. To me, I think this kind of went on a little bit too long. I think they kind of had too much time.
Right.
Because the time from when he revealed the T-shirt to his turn, I felt like it was a little bit too long. And they kept saying the same things over and over again. It felt like it was dragging too long.
Did you see the wink that Moxley did to the camera?
The camera, yeah, I caught that. And then Moxley builds up the Inner Circle, says he'll stand with them, says Jericho is the GOAT, and in order to be great, you have to learn from the great. They start celebrating with a little bit of the bubbly, a bunch of Jericho's bottles, and then eventually after, this it goes on and on and on and on. I'm going, hey, what the hell is going on here? Sammy G and Jack leave the ring, and they're left with this Jericho and Moxley in the ring, and then Moxley's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Jericho, I was just kidding. Yeah, I don't want to join the inner circle."
I love face though.
He's like, "Thanks for the keys. I'll keep that, but all I want from you is one thing, and that's that." And he's pointing at the AEW title, and he takes the Jericho champagne and smashes it over the head of Chris Jericho, and he gives him a paradigm shift, and then he gives one to Sammy G, who comes into the ring, and then Jake Hagar chases John Moxley into the crowd, and he celebrates with the crowd. He rips a T-shirt off and throws it at them. So John Moxley, he lied.
He lied.
And he doesn't join the inner circle, thank goodness. But that was cool. I thought really cool way to end the show. Again, not without its negatives. It was too long. There was that gap in the middle that was a little bit too long. I kind of felt like they had too much time left at the end of TV. It's kind of like they dragged it so that it would end right on the dot. I feel like if you can end it 3 minutes early, no one's going to care. Like if it ends 3 minutes early, it ends 3 minutes early. They can just run commercials until, 10 o'clock. It's not a big deal. It felt too dragged, and that's weird to think for AEW, who's had a problem with time lately, that they had too much time at the end here.
Yeah, they have to work on their timing.
Yeah, so to me, it felt like it dragged a little bit too longer than I would have liked it, but I did enjoy that whole segment. It was awesome. They did a good job of presenting John Moxley, of joining Inner Circle. They made it believable. Like, right. I thought for sure, I'm like, oh my God, so they're actually going in this way. Like, I for sure thought I was going through, like, what's going to happen in a couple weeks with these two. Is he eventually going to turn on Jericho? Like, I had so many thoughts going through my head, and I love the quick turnaround, and it makes John Moxley into the bigger star that he already is. Yeah. And
Cupid Girl said in the chat, Jake holding Jericho like a baby was hilarious.
Oh yeah, right at the end where like Jericho's like knocked out and Jack's just like holding him like a baby. Oh my
God.
It was great. So we'll see next week. John Moxley's gonna face Sammy G, and I imagine Jake Hagar will be in his corner. So yeah. So interesting episode to Dynamite this week. Again, I think a little bit too many intertwining storylines. Kind of need to brush up on that. Segments felt a little bit too much and oversaturated, just a tad. But I'm sure, again, they're working on it. Only a year old. It gets better by the weeks go on.
Right.
As for the tweet of the night, do want to thank everyone who participates. We had over 30 responses this week. Guys, remember, look out for the tweet after every Dynamite episode to be featured as tweet of the night for us. The tweet of the night we picked is by the Maniac Mitch Miller at Mitch_N_Miller. And his tweet of good old Moxley. And the reason we chose this one is because of the GIF. Look at that GIF. I think that's Vince Vaughn. I don't know. I don't know where this is from. If anyone in the chat knows, or if anyone listening back knows where this movie or if this is from a TV show, let us know. But the GIF was hilarious. Just good old Moxley, and it just fits the GIF so well. So congratulations, Mitch and Miller, the Maniac Mitch Miller, for winning tweet of the night this week.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I really had nothing else for the show.
Right. Oh, well, being the elite.
I didn't watch.
My God.
Did you take notes?
I did take notes.
Okay, so then we can do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the Being the Elite review. And, Tiff will be taking the reins of Being the Elite review this week again, since I didn't watch. So I'll just give my instant reactions to this week's Being the Elite.
It wasn't a very, long episode. We had Superhuman in the beginning, which I still don't get why.
Oh, that guy. That's the wrestling move guy that does all those wrestling moves on, light tubes and microwaves.
I just don't get it.
He's a stuntman. He's a stuntman. Not a wrestler. He's a stuntman.
Idiot. That's what he is. To me, he's an idiot. But I know, he's so freaking over and stuff like that. But he was doing it for all my juggalos and juggalettes. And then you had Frankie, doing the
Do ya?
Yeah, he did the do ya. And Superhuman got, scared. It was pretty funny. And then we got into like the New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, this for my gigolos and gigolettes. Hope you like this. Don't try this at home. Whoop whoop.
It was pretty cool. So yeah, we saw the footage with the New Year's Eve party that they had, and then we had Angelico and Jack Evans calling out Josh Lambo. I'm not a football person, so I'm sorry. Like, but they were like that anything that they do that he does that they can do better than they were kicking the football around. But the best was Orange Cassidy was laying on the field.
Oh God.
Ball.
Oh, I seen that. Yeah.
Dying. And then you see Penelope Ford and Kip, they're like clapping for them, so it kind of like built the dark that we saw a little bit.
Okay.
But the best was Orange Cassidy with the tackle thing. I don't know what it's called. Again, I'm not a football girl, so I'm sorry. What is those things that they practice with? And he's doing the kicks, against it, and then he tackles it. So I was dying about that. The best was, Kyle, you have to go back and you have to go watch the promos that was like Brendan Cutler footage we had with Jurassic Express, and that they were saying tit and all these like things, boners, and then they had to like, it was really funny. Like you kept we'll just edit it out or whatever like that. But it was
you sold me now.
Yeah, you have to watch this bit. It was pretty funny. And then Joey Janela walks by and takes the glasses away from Marco Stunt. I was actually really dying with this. So yeah, definitely check this out. Then we had Leva Bates, where we seen Jack Evans going. He was eating pie. Leva takes the pie, puts like something healthy in front of him. She walks away. Then she comes over to Marco Stunt, who's playing the Switch, and then she switches and she takes the Switch from him and puts a book in replacement. And then you see her later, like she's sitting on a couch and she's eating the pie and she's got some alcohol and she's drinking. And then at the end she's playing the Switch. It was funny. Like you should go back and watch it. I mean, it was just a good episode. And then we had Rio and Kenny in the hall. Rihu in the hallway. I actually said it the right way. And you see Penelope Ford and Kip, and like Kip's like talking all this. Did you see it? And Kenny's like, yeah, you lost. I saw you lost. It doesn't matter, because the chemistry that me and Penelope have, and they're kind of hinting at intergender matching.
Oh, okay.
So I'm kind of really excited for this. I'm hit or miss with intergender matches. Like there's some really good matches out there in the intergender world, but as a female, I get nervous sometimes. Like Tessa Blanchard is one of the best who has intergender matches. Yeah. We just saw Chris Statlander and John Silver at Beyond Wrestling on New Year's Eve, which is a really good match. If you want to see intergender matches, it's a really good match. So I feel like I hope we get it. And I know like Tony Khan is kind of against it because he has, the feelings like you don't hit women and stuff like that. Yeah. But this could really go somewhere, I feel like, with AEW with the intergender like tag team. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Thinking about it,
but like, yeah, Penelope Ford was kind of like taunting like Rio, like like, right, bitch, and then walk. Yeah, so I wonder like what's gonna happen here. Are we gonna get like Kenny and Rio versus Penelope and Kip? But it's probably not gonna be like intergender, like it's probably gonna be like the mixed tag that we've seen like in WWE, probably going on with that. And then of course, the best, Hangman Page sitting at the bar, and the private party comes in, and I sent you the GIF. I've created the GIF, that one with Hangman Page. It's a private party. Oh, yeah. I was dying with that. And, Hangman Page was talking a little shit. They were pretty much telling that he can't, hang with them if that he's acting like kind of like an asshole and a prick, and that if they're not going to hang, that it's going to cost them $12 for the drink.
Yikes.
So I don't know.
It's an expensive drink for $12.
Oh, it must be like New York prices. So.
Hey, they're living up to that New York name. So
yeah. So then at the end we had like Dark Order that we saw the mask at front door, and then it says once you join, you can't leave.
Ooh, yeah. So your boys, Beaver Boys, are stuck.
Well, I don't know. It's like, is it really like, we were talking about this weeks ago that we're like, oh, John Silver, like, was it him that threw out the mask? Was it really him? Are they hinting? Could it be Brandon Cutler? Mm-hmm. Like we talked about this a little bit. So I don't know. Like,
I hope, what, I've kind of been thinking about who the leader is. Mm-hmm. The Exalted One. I would love, and I know they hinted hard that it could be Matt Hardy because he said wonderful. I actually kind of agree with that. That'd be really cool if it was Matt Hardy because his contract's done with WWE in March. If he comes over and they do this big reveal at like Double or Nothing in May, that'd be sweet. I'd be on board with that. And they transition Dark Order into the Broken Universe. That'd be sweet.
I don't know. So we shall see.
We shall see. Yeah.
Soon. So, but yeah, that was it. It was a very quick Being the Elite episode.
Which I think they will probably be from now on. I know their main focus obviously is AEW television. Being the Elite is more like they're more of a fun thing to do on the side with some others, with some serious stuff in it. Obviously with the Dark Order stuff, so keep being tuned in. So yeah, sounds like a good episode. So I don't know, I haven't seen it, but sounds like one.
Yeah, they're all good. It doesn't matter. I like all the Being the Elites. I really haven't seen a bad one. Even if you start from the beginning, like I binged it. So I suggest if you guys haven't, go binge it. It's worth it. It tells the story, and then you catch
just ask work for like a week vacation and just binge Being the Elite for the whole week. It sounds normal. That doesn't sound unnormal to me. I don't know.
You don't need to watch it in a week if you're looking for something.
Take your time. I don't mean like sit there on YouTube for 12 hours a day.
No, I didn't do that, but I was able to watch it all. Well, this was back how many episodes are we in? But I think it was like around like 100, and like I went back. So. But they're good. They're definitely worth it. And you'll understand things that you'll pick up. So.
Ooh. Anywho,
me.
Yeah. So that's it. Good episode of Dynamite. I'm excited for next week. Bash at the Beach. Very excited for that themed episode of Dynamite. And then a week after, the Rock and Rager themed episode of Dynamite on the JR Cruise. I'm excited for that because I want to know how the layout is going to be. I want to know how they're going to do stuff on the ship. Very excited to see how it plays out in the next 2 weeks. Exciting stuff for AEW in the next couple of weeks coming up, leading into their build for the end of February for AEW Revolution. But before you go anywhere, guys, make sure you are following this podcast, your number one source and exciting source for all AEW everything. And we have social media platforms for you guys to follow. Like us on Facebook at All Elite Podcast. Like us on Instagram, All Elite Pod, and make sure you are following us on the most important social media platform, and that is Twitter at All Elite Pod. All links are located down in the YouTube description below. If you guys are listening on the go, make sure you head on over our YouTube page. Subscribe while you're at it. Subscribe to No Holds Barred Network. Really cool network. Has some other awesome wrestling podcasts on there, like Tiff's Indie Talks. She's got her we got her Under the Ropes thing. We have my master's degree thing. Lots of other interesting podcasts on there for you guys to check out on the No Holds Barred Network. So make sure you're following us on social media. We're actually available on the go as well, and that is All Elite Podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Overcast, Deezer, Podcast, or Pocket Cast, everywhere. You can find podcasts out there. You can find the All Elite Podcast. So make sure you're searching up the No Holds Barred Network, and you will get the All Elite Podcast and all the other fine additions to that network. We have a t-shirt store, AEW Tees, guys, where you can find some really cool-looking t-shirts done by the podcast. All proceeds are donated to Culture City, which are a great nonprofit organization that are partnered with AEW in terms of giving those out there who help the acceptance of all individuals, regardless of their unique abilities, to watch AEW there live in the arena. So really cool organization. Go check them out, guys. Culture City on social media. And best of all, if you buy a t-shirt, all proceeds are donated to Culture City. We have a t-shirt on that store that is done by These Wolves, the band who does the official podcast for this podcast. They have a shirt, These Wolves, Music for the Elite. Again, all those proceeds for that t-shirt will be donated alongside the proceeds for our t-shirts to Culture City. And a shout out to These Wolves each and every single week for doing the theme song, Dead to Me, for the All Elite Podcast. They do other songs that are theme songs for other podcasts here on this network, such as Tiff's Indie Talks, Under the Ropes, Master's Degree. They are a really cool band, guys. Go check them out on social media. Links are located right there on the screen for you on YouTube. So thank you, Darren and These Wolves, each and every single week.
Just saw Darren, too, at the ICW show.
Oh, yeah. How is he doing?
He's good. Actually,
Good.
we're trying to like make plans to meet up again. So he sends me every time that he's working with GoPro Wrestling. If you guys seen, like, we had Frank on with us on one of the episodes. So Darren works for him as well. So he's always like sending me where he's working, because since I'm the indie queen and I go to all the indie shows, you know, like I try to like link up with him, and it's kind of like hard. And actually, he's gonna be right by my house, like, but I've already got tickets for something else, and I'm like, shit, like, sucks.
But thank you, Darren, again. You letting us use your music for our podcast, it literally means the whole entire world to us. So thank you again for doing that for us and letting us do it each and every single week. Other than that, guys, I think that's gonna wrap it up. Tiff's got a couple of episodes coming up. Tiff, you want to let us know about that?
So if you guys didn't see, I just did, what's today? Wednesday, I put out, actually before AEW, another Under the Ropes with Hank Flanagan. So that's live on the channel. Also, I know Kyle's going to upload that into audio if you like us on the go. So please check that one out. And this Sunday, I'm going to have Colin West from Synergy Wrestling. So his show is next Saturday, the 18th. So we're going to talk about who, what, when, why, where.
Who, what, why, where?
We're going to talk about all that stuff, you know. Number one husband's going to be there. And Joey Silver on the 18th. So, you know, if you want to find out all information about Synergy Wrestling, then join us live Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So thank you for that, Tiff. And more exciting stuff coming to the network each and every single week, guys. You don't want to miss this, so make sure you are subscribed to the No Holds Bar Network on YouTube and following us at NHB Network on Twitter. That's going to wrap it up for this episode, guys, of the All Elite Podcast, episode number 63. We lied!
We lied!
Right here on the No Holds Bar Network, your source for all wrestling podcast content and more. I'm your host, as always, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters. I'm always joined by my co-host. She's the executive vice president of Giggles, the queen of the indies herself, Tiffany. And we'll see you guys next week for some more podcast. What? What?
Ish.
Okay, Tiffany, she's also on the Ish. Forgot to let everyone know that. And she will be on the Ish with her future episodes of her podcast on the network and right here on the All Elite Podcast.
I don't know.